Basketball and football are the most popular sports in Serbia. Serbia, as part of Yugoslavia, had success in both sports. Since regaining independence in 2006, Serbia did better in basketball than in football. I often heard comment how Serbia is great at many sports, except in the one that really matters: football. Other team sports are often overshadowed by football. Serbia had amazing players, but we never had an amazing team. Serbia usually underperformed on football competitions. Why Serbia has problem with forming great football team? Some football players are treated as stars even though they are below average. I noticed sport journalists created hype over certain players. Footballers usually date models and singers. This means they are present in the press almost every day. I can bet that some players got spots on the national team due to their marketability. There is another interesting factor. National team was never as popular as Red Star or Partizan football clubs. This meant that coaches had to invite celebrity players to convince people to watch the game. How well did Yugoslavia do in the past? Football Association of Yugoslavia existed between 1920 and 1992. Their nickname was Plavi, which meant the blues in English. Regular Yugoslav jersey was color blue. Yugoslavian team played under the name of Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes. Their first match was a nightmare. National team lost to Czechoslovakia 7-0 in August 1920. This was one of the worst defeats in the history of former national team. The last international match Yugoslavia played against Netherlands on 25th March 1992. Yugoslavians lost 2-0. Does this mean Yugoslavia always lost? No, far from that. Let's see the results. Yugoslavia participated on World Cup 8 times starting with 1930. Their best results were 4th places in 1930 and 1962. Yugoslavia participated on European Championship 4 times starting with 1960. Best results were runner-ups in 1960 and 1968. Yugoslavian football team won several medals on Olympic Games. They won gold in 1960, silver in 1948, 1952 and 1956, and bronze in 1984. Yugoslavia won Balkan Cup and Mediterranean Games twice. In 1992, Yugoslavia was banned from international competitions due to wars and sanctions. The ban was lifted in 1994. Yugoslavia existed until 2003, when the country changed the name to Serbia and Montenegro. In 2006, Montenegro peacefully left the Union. This means that between 1994 and 2006, only players for Serbia and Montenegro played for the national team. Interesting fact is that Denmark got Yugoslavia's place at Euro 92. Denmark won the tournament. One can read online comments about Yugoslavia, the greatest team that never was. This statement comes from belief that Yugoslavia would have dominated football during 1990s. Honestly, I think it is better that Yugoslav experiment failed. Now all former Yugoslav republics have their own teams. This means the situation is less toxic than before. Non-Serbs cannot blame Serbs for bad results now. In 1998, the national team participated on World Cup and reached round of 16. On Euro 2000, Yugoslavia reached quarterfinals. On 2006 World Cup, Serbia and Montenegro failed to pass the group stage. But in 2006, players weren't motivated to try to win the tournament. The Union was already officially gone. Interesting fact is that Serbia and Montenegro played against Argentina and lost 6-0. Messi scored his first goal for Argentina during that game. Another interesting detail is the best and worst FIFA ranking of Yugoslavia during 1990s. Due to the ban, Yugoslavian ranking in 1994 was 101. Only 4 years later, in 1998, Yugoslavian ranking was 6.
Serbian FIFA rankings ranged from 56 to 23 in the last 10 years. How well did Serbia do since 2006? Expectations were high, but results were less impressive. The team is nicknamed Orlovi, which translates as eagles. Two-headed eagle is on Serbian flag. In 2006, Serbian team hired Javier Clemente as coach. This was a big deal because Clemente was the first foreign coach our national team had. They failed to qualify for major tournaments. Serbia's strategy was to sack the coach. We changed 14 coaches in 16 years. This is beyond bad. Most coaches had no time to establish team before being sacked. This proved to be very costly for Serbia. We had to pay millions of dollars to fired coaches. Serbs joked how it was very profitable to be bad coach. They got insane paychecks for working only a few months. Serbian public deduced that it is not smart to be good coach. This is why you rarely hear about coaches of Serbian national team. Then there was bad blood between Red Star and Partizan that spread into national team. Red Star and Partizan are bitter rivals. Their fans often engage in violent fights. It is considered taboo for a player to move from one club to another. Both clubs were founded after World War II. In almost 80 years of their history, only a handful of players played for both clubs.
Goalkeeper Vladimir Stojkovic began his career in Red Star and later moved to other clubs. Eventually he arrived to play for Partizan. This alone would be considered faux pas, but Stojkovic decided to bring the beef to another level. After the game, he removed jersey to show t-shirt with words, "Forgive me for my sad past." Red Star supporters saw this as ultimate betrayal and insult. Red Star fans boycotted national team games when Stojkovic played. Once they attacked the bus with the national team because they wanted to beat Stojkovic. To say it mildly, the whole situation with Stojkovic was bad for team spirit. Important thing is not to mix Vladimir with Dragan Stojkovic Pixi. Pixi is current coach of the national team and former Red Star player. He was part of Red Star Golden Team from early 1990s. Pixi is also Zvezdina Zvezda, English Star's star. Red Star gives this title to most esteemed player. During almost 80 years, only 5 players got this title. They are Rajko Mitic, Dragoslav Šakularac, Dragan Djajic, Vladimir Petrovic Pižon and Dragan Stojkovic Pixi. Pixi spent most of his career playing and coaching in Japan. We were given the list of 26 players who will appear on World Cup. Foreigners joked about Nemanja Gudel being the only player without suffix ich. The fact is that most people living in Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Montenegro have last names with suffix ich. The suffix ich is diminutive used to create patronymic and matronymic last names. Goalkeeper Predrag Rajkovic had ancestor named Rajko. Sasha Lukic had ancestor named Luka. Aleksandar Mitrovic holds the record for most goals, 50. He is on the list to play on World Cup. Dusan Tadic is team's captain and oldest player, being born in 1988. The youngest trio, Strahinja Pavlovic, Strahinja Erakovic and Ivan Ilic, were all born in 2001. This means Serbia has no teen players on World Cup. But Serbian team is still young, as 18 out of 26 players are under 30. Italian football fans noticed that 11 Serbian players play for Italian clubs. Italy didn't qualify for World Cup, so some Italians plan to cheer for Serbia as a replacement. Almost all Serbian national team players play in foreign clubs. The only exception is Strahinja Erakovic, who plays for the Red Star. All Serbian players play in Europe. These are countries where they play: Italy 11 players, Spain 6 players, Portugal 2 players. And 1 player in Germany, Austria, Poland, Greece, England and Netherlands. Some foreigners see Serbian team as dark horse or possible revelation. I would be more cautious about the predictions. Having great players doesn't mean the team will do well. Serbia in the past had Nemanja Vidic, Branislav Ivanovic, Nemanja Matic. Of course, I would love to see Serbia win World Cup, but it is not likely.
Current Serbian FIFA ranking is 21. Serbia is placed in Group G with Brazil, Switzerland and Cameroon. Only Cameroon has worse ranking than Serbia. Brazil is obvious favorite to pass the group stage. Who will be the second team from Group G to advance to the round of 16? Interesting fact is that Serbia, Brazil and Switzerland were all in Group E on 2018 World Cup. Brazil and Switzerland advanced to the round of 16, and Serbia and Costa Rica were eliminated. Will history repeat? I hope not, but it is possible. In 2018 World Cup, Serbia lost 0-2 to Brazil and 1-2 to Switzerland. These weren't embarrassing results. Some betting websites predict a draw between Serbia and Switzerland. But football is an unpredictable sport. In the end, I hope and pray for good results. But my biggest concern are possible incidents. We really don't need to see brawls and drones flying over stadium. No, I'm not kidding about drones. The Euro 2016 qualifying match in Belgrade between Serbia and Albania was abandoned after a drone flew over the pitch. The drone was carrying the banner with the map of Great Albania. The huge brawl erupted between players, fans and team officials. For those who don't know, Great Albania includes huge chunks of Serbian territory. But Albania didn't qualify for World Cup 2022, so what's the problem? Many ethnic Albanians play for Switzerland. Theoretically, they could make trouble with Great Albania banners or chanting. Could Serbian fans make trouble? Of course, they could cause problems. They might wave flags of Great Serbia that includes huge chunks of Albanian land. Qatar officials should confiscate all banners just in case. World Cup should be all about football and not politics.